Welcome to A Talk with Armani.
I am your host, Armani Iman.
This is the show that takes you behind the scenes and in front of the screen of all different types of productions. Whether it's a feature film, a brand new TV show, or writing a book, I introduce you to those powerhouses that make those productions work. Make sure you stay tuned as I bring to you my first guest.
Welcome to A Talk with Armani. So, a lot of times I have the rare opportunity to bring a specialist in that can help us with a different part of production, the production of our lives. And today I'm very happy to welcome Ms. Sypreme Essence, who is going to assist us with talking about not only restoring and protecting, but starting to know how to use our credit. Please help me welcome Ms. Sypreme Essence. Hello.
Thank you so much. Hello.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. And again, I thank you because you know, a lot of times I have people on here, I have directors and actors and producers, and it's all different parts of life. You know, all different parts of production, things that we see, things that we're watching on television. But when it comes to us and in our lives and the things that we need to do to kind of make sure we're maintaining, we don't really get a lot of information about it. And right now, it seems like one of the most important things we need to have is credit. No matter what it is, if you want to go to the store and buy something, cash is good, but credit is what's opening doors.
Agreed.
Okay.
Yes. Credit is life. It's literally what soul is to human form.
Okay.
It's that important. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cash is king, but credit is life.
Okay.
And there's a science when it comes to credit. People don't know. They just think that pay your bills off to zero and that's it. Most people don't even know when you pay your car off, your credit score drops.
Really?
Yes, your credit score would drop.
Oh, wow. Because you're no longer paying on the bill.
It's because you lose the age
Oh.
and you lose that account. So you need to
Okay.
find something to replace that.
Oh, wow. So what about the person that has no credit? They have no credit at all.
Those are the people that find the most points.
Okay.
So if you have no credit, you have to start off with at least 2 revolving accounts, like 2 secured cards will do you fine.
Okay.
The first card that you get, you might get an 80 to 100 point jump
Okay.
just from getting a credit card with a $200 limit on it.
Wow.
Yes.
Now you said secured credit card.
Yes.
What is a secured credit card?
A secured credit card is a credit card that you put your own money on.
Okay. So not a prepaid card like you go to the Walmart or the CVS and you get and put money on it. How do you get a secured credit card? Do you have to go through a bank or?
Well, you can go to your own bank. I am affiliated with a few people. If you come to my group, you can find out who those people are.
Okay, so you have resources.
Yes.
So tell us about your group. Let's talk about that. Tell us about your group.
So my group, Credit Warriors Inc., is Each One Teach One. It's I started this group May 28th, 2016.
Okay.
And it started with about 12 people.
Okay.
It was like, hey guys, you know, I was helping them with their credit and it just kept bothering me at work. I said, okay, so I'm going to put some tips in a Facebook group and I want you guys just to look at the group. And 12 people over the course of a year turned into 400,000 people.
Really?
Yeah.
So you have 400,000 people in your group?
422,000 people now.
Wow.
And probably 1,500 people waiting to get in right now.
Are you kidding me?
Yes.
Wow. And they're all part of, and they're getting tips about credit, or are they sharing? Are you teaching them? What exactly is going on in the group?
Yes. What it is it's Each One Teach One. So what I did was I wrote a 28-page step-by-step booklet.
Okay.
So you can literally clean your own credit by using my methods.
Okay.
All right. I stumbled across these methods. They're all legal loopholes that I discovered, and I put them into a resource that you can download from my website absolutely free.
Wow. So you can participate in your own rescue.
Yes.
Okay, so you can go ahead, if your credit is messed up, you can go to your website or to this group and download this particular document and go ahead and clean up your credit.
Yes.
And if you need some support or if you need some more information, then you can go to your group, which now there's a waiting list for, because you've got too many members.
It's because I have admins that have to make sure that it's a safe place. We want to keep it that way.
Okay.
So we want to keep our people that want to take your information, or people that want to solicit their services. You know, it's not that type of group. It's a group where you come, you want to learn, you want to be able to express yourself without, you know. So we actually have to scan the pages to make sure that you have a profile picture, to make sure that everything is copy before we let you in. So it takes time, because we have over 2,000 people that want to enter the group per day. And if you have a new profile, we can't let you in because it's just
It's
too
possibly
new.
fraud.
Yes.
And that's one of the things we want to, of course, avoid
Yes.
is fraud.
Yes.
Behind the simple fact that that's one of the things that hurts credit. People, you know, phishing. I get emails all the time about your profile could have been affected. There was just a data breach at Sam's Club. And, you know, my credit card company notified me that, hey, you know, there's been a data breach. You could have been affected.
Yes.
And a lot of people don't realize that those data breaches, you might think, oh, I've got bad credit, or I don't have no credit. They're not going to get nothing from me. And then you find out that there's been some inquiries, or they might have used you to co-sign for something and you don't even know what it is.
Yes, it's true. In Equifax, there was a major data breach with Equifax also. And that's one of the 3 credit bureaus that they're supposed to protect your information, and millions of people globally were affected by this security breach. So there's hackers out there who have our information.
Wow.
And that just happened like a few months ago.
Now, did you go to school for this? Is this something that you do full time? Tell me about you.
Okay. February of 2016, I mean, I had a business. I thought it was a business. It was a 17 passenger bus that I turned into a store.
Okay.
So I sold clothes.
Okay.
It was so beautiful, retro mod. It had hardwood floors, bathroom, wine bar. It was dope. And my bus broke down.
Okay.
It cost $4,000 to fix my bus because
Okay.
it wasn't like a regular car. And I went to the bank, like, hey, I need a loan. Can I get a loan? You know,
Right.
just all chipper, and got turned down like so fast. Like I couldn't even really explain what my whole business concept was.
Wow.
I was really hurt because I didn't know I didn't structure my business properly. And the person who I went for the loan and asked the loan, he couldn't tell me why. That wasn't his job to tell me why. You know, he just was just like, I don't qualify.
Really?
Yeah.
So was it your bank?
Yes.
Oh, did you take your money out after that?
No, I didn't. I didn't have any money at the time. I had no
okay.
money. I was
Okay.
making literally, I was actually waitressing. I was waitressing, and I worked about 2 days out the week, making $300 a week.
Okay. Okay.
And so I had my business that I thought was going to be booming, and unfortunately it didn't. I didn't structure my business properly, and I said to my husband, I said, babe, you know what? I think we really need to get our credit fixed because I don't want to wait for income tax anymore for the come up.
Right.
And he was like, I agree, let's do it. So
Right.
we went to the secondhand stores and bought books, and we read and we came across so many loopholes, and I just knew it had to be a better way.
Okay.
So I just started researching, and I started applying what I've learned to my own self and to my husband as well,
Okay.
and those around me.
Okay.
And the formula was right on point.
Really?
I hit it right on point.
So you found this.
Yes.
And you utilized that to participate in your rescue.
Yes.
And then you applied it to yourself.
Yes.
And then you said, okay, now I'm starting to see these results. I'm starting to see that my credit is starting to benefit from me
Yes.
doing this.
It was amazing. I went from a 519 to over a 720 in 3 months.
Wow.
Yes,
Wow,
by using the
that
same
is
formula.
amazing.
So I wrote the formula down in the step-by-step book that I give you guys for free. And it works thousands, hundreds of thousands of people on my page, praise reports of buying their dream homes, their cars, the leverage. The people are having, they're able to not buy a baby, what is it, in vitro
vitro fertilization.
Who couldn't qualify for that, they're getting their children.
Yeah.
So this is so much bigger than let me just get a credit card. This is life.
Absolutely.
Credit Warriors is changing lives across the world.
Absolutely.
Globally.
Absolutely.
Yes, globally.
That is wonderful.
Yes,
That is
so
wonderful.
The power of giving is what got me here today. So I've given the formula away, and I still continue to do it. It's just when people hire me because they want me to do it for them, they don't have time. It's not that they can't do it. It's just that people don't have time. Some people have children, everyday life. So they don't have time to do it themselves. So they'll hire someone like me,
Right.
you know, or hire me.
Okay.
And I would, it's no promise because there's no guarantees. But I would just keep going on your behalf to try to get everything off the best way I can by
Right.
using the laws in my favor.
Right.
That's
Absolutely.
why we win.
Oh, wow. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that when we come back from our break, okay?
Okay.
All righty. We'll be right back. You're watching A Talk with Armani. Welcome back to A Talk with Armani. So I am sitting here with the credit specialist, know what she's doing with the credit. We talking about Equifax, Experian, TransUnion, going from zero to being able to buy your dream home, your dream car, whatever it is that you want, and not have to use the almighty dollar, but use credit. And I'm talking about the credit warrior queen herself, Miss Sypreme Essence.
Hey.
So, okay. So you said you started out with having an issue and seeing, hey, my credit's not good. Let me go ahead, utilize these things that I have going on, find this stuff, go to these secondhand stores, get this information, apply it to my situation, and voila. Now, you, like you said, you went from a 500 to some odd score to over 700.
Yes.
Now, what about for the person, again, you know, we talked about the person that doesn't have any credit. You know, you need to go get yourself a couple of little secured cards, start building, start small, and you will grow. Just keep up your payments so you don't end up in a situation where now you need credit repair. 'Cause if you don't have any credit, then that's okay. You can start, you know, it's a blank canvas. So just keep up your payments. Now, what about the person that has too much credit? You know, that may, you know, they've been doing everything that they're supposed to do, but then they go somewhere and they know they've got a good score. They might have a score of like 700 and something. They might make good money. They go and apply for a card during the holiday time and gets turned down. What does the person do in that situation?
Okay. So in that situation, it's usually their debt to income ratio, as we discussed earlier. Basically, they have to, okay, if they have student loans, you have to pay them down aggressively, or there's ways of hiding them.
Okay.
Okay, so someone like me, I would take them off your report.
Okay.
So it doesn't eliminate the debt, but it hides the debt from people who might potentially lend you money.
Got you.
So yeah.
So there's different ways, there's different resources as far as credit. And as we're seeing more and more now, credit is what you need. You know, you can't go into the store and spend, you know, and give somebody $100,000 for a car. And I think even if you had $100,000 liquid laying around and just said, oh, I'm going to go, I don't think I just want to give somebody all my money. I think I would want to try to break it down into payments, even if you have it. I think there's been instances at times when I had the cash to buy something and I just said, nope, I'm going to put it on payments. Because it just seems like it gives you more leverage. It gives you a little bit more, you know, security. Is that true?
That's absolutely true.
Okay.
Absolutely. The credit does give you leverage. You want to be able to, if an emergency pops up, maybe the people who own dogs, you don't want to have to make the decision to have to put your dog down because you can't afford the test that the vet, you know, to see if your dog might have like a terminal illness, or
Right,
maybe you
absolutely.
can save the dog, you know. And a lot of pet owners, they face that
Yeah, I
every
was
day.
faced with a situation where they called me about my pet, and it was strange to me. It was foreign because the statement that the young lady made was, do you want us to use life-saving procedures to save your baby if needed? And I was like, well, yeah. And she was like, well, it's going to be about $700 or $800.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, save my dog.
Yes.
You know, but to me, that was something I realized that was something that maybe people would say, no, I can't afford that. Like they wanted to
Yes.
make sure before they did anything that they told me that it was going to be $700 or $800. And at the time, I was offended. At the time, because you're hurt and you're
Yes.
going through, you know, your pet, that's a member of your family. So you're like, oh my God, how could they ask me that? They wouldn't ask me if it was my son. They wouldn't, you know what I mean? But I get it now.
Yes.
Because that is a bill that you're going to have to pay and that they'll put on your credit if you don't, you know,
Yes.
and I get it now. So you're absolutely right.
Oh yeah, definitely. So the leverage, everyone needs the leverage. You just never know when an emergency is going to pop up and you have to maybe take a flight next day. You know, you just want to be able to give that credit card and just feel safe and secure. You want to be able to go buy a car or anything else that you want without getting those jitters in your stomach, like, am I going to get approved? Am I going to get approved? You want to have that confidence when you go out.
And it can also help with children going to school. Because now they have the program where I believe, you know, the parents can co-sign for loans to help the children go to school. Is that correct?
Well, yeah, that's a different ball game for me. When it comes to like student loans, that's not my forte really.
But I'm talking about with somebody having credit. A parent, if you have,
Oh,
if your
yes.
credit is okay,
You can
then
co-sign.
then you can co-sign.
Oh,
you
yeah.
can help your children also achieve their goals of what they're trying to do.
Yes.
Because you have the ability to co-sign for them to help them get that student loan that they may need,
Yes.
or funding that they may need in order to go to college.
Yes, you just have to be prepared for that, because if they don't finish school, you're still left with that bill, and your child's loan might get forgiven. And you have a parent loan, it's a different ball game. You don't
Oh,
qualify
wow.
to get your
Okay.
loans forgiven, so you're stuck with that bill. So even as a parent, you have to make a conscious decision. I won't co-sign for anybody. I mean,
Oh, really?
just straight up. Like my kids, they're adults and they know, Mom, can you help me get a car? Nope. Mom, can you help me? No. My sons, they went out and got their own cars, you know, because
Okay.
I won't co-sign for anyone. And I mean, I'm disciplined. But most people want to help because they feel a need to try to help someone get a car, but it's just a bad decision. You have to.
So you would always advise against it?
Yes, do not co-sign for anybody.
Okay. Okay. Is there any other thing that you would like if you had to say the 3 don'ts in credit, what would they be?
Okay, when it comes to credit cards, do not go over 30% of the credit card's total value. So say like if you have like a $200 credit card limit, don't go over $60. But see, it's the closing statement date that you have to pay attention to.
Okay.
So you have to find out when the closing statement is, because you shouldn't have more than 10% reporting to the credit bureaus.
Okay.
Okay, you wait a couple days, then you can buy what you want and then aggressively pay it off.
Okay.
Okay,
So if you got a credit card limit of $200 and your payment date is, let's say your closing date is on the 30th, you can spend the $200.
No,
but
you can if your closing date is on the 30th, you shouldn't have more than 10% of that card. So $20 reporting or less, not 10%. What is that? It's $20, right?
Right.
No more than $20 reporting by the closing statement date, because you don't want to go over 30% of what that card's utilization is.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. If you utilize more than 30%, your credit score is going to go down.
Okay. What's the second thing?
You should have a credit monitoring service on your credit, a paid service, not just Credit Karma. Okay. You need something that's going to alert you just in case someone tries to steal your identity.
Okay.
There's many of them you could choose from. I don't endorse just any one, but I would have a credit monitoring service on my credit report just in case.
Okay. And the third thing?
And the third one is respect your credit. Don't feel a need to max out your cards or grab everything that comes your way. You have to respect your credit, because the more you hold out and wait and let your cards age, the more you'll get in the long run.
Okay, alrighty. Well, thank you so much for coming on. And so the name of your group is Credit Warriors.
Yes.
And that is a Facebook group?
Yes, it's a Facebook group. It's Credit Warriors. Actually, it's Credit Warriors Inc. No, it's Credit Warriors Each One Teach One.
Credit Warriors Each One Teach One.
Yes.
And it's a Facebook group
Yes.
that has over 420 some odd thousand members.
Yes.
And they're all in there sharing experiences, teaching, talking about, getting from, going back and forth,
Yes.
exchanging information. Some of them are offering resources. Some people are partaking resources. So if you want to join the group, you have to ask to join the group.
Yes.
And then just be forewarned, she will scan to make sure that you are legitimate, make sure your profile is accurate.
Yes.
And, make sure that you're coming for a legitimate reason.
Yes, we have
Okay.
to.
Okay. And then are you also on Instagram?
Yes, I am. Credit Warriors Inc.
Credit Warriors Inc. on
Yes.
Instagram. And of course, you have a website.
Yes, I do. It's creditwarriors.org.
Okay. And on your website is where they can find this 28-page document.
Yes.
Which has the formula that can help you repair your credit yourself.
Yes.
Alrighty, but if you can't do it because you have children or you are busy all the time, you can reach out to Sypreme Essence at her website. You can send her an email and explain, I guess, your situation and try to make contact with her to see if she has the ability to help you.
That's right.
Thank you so much again for coming on. I look forward to seeing more positive because it's a positive experience.
Yes.
And like you said, it's not a black or a white thing, it's a class thing.
It's a class thing, definitely. We're all one when it comes to credit.
Right.
All one.
All
We're
one.
all one together anyways. There's
yeah.
just none of that.
Right, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you again for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
We'll be right back.
Thank you.
You're watching A Talk with Armani.
Welcome back to A Talk with Armani. So I am sitting here with Dalyra, and we are going to talk. And we're going to go ahead and piggy right back off of my guest, who's Sypreme Essence. So she came in and she was talking about
I love her name.
credit. I know. Credit and, the do's and the don'ts of the credits, the pitfalls of credit. Let me ask you a question. Do you believe in credit?
Here's the thing. I believe in credit in a sense of like sometimes you want to buy things that you can't afford to buy. Now, I also think that it's not real money. So like if I owe you money on a credit card and I can't pay you, then...
But isn't that an oxymoron saying that credit is for stuff that you can buy that you can't afford to
right.
buy?
Absolutely. It's like things you shouldn't have in the first place. Exactly.
Okay, so for instance, you want to buy a house.
Yeah.
A house is $300,000.
Yeah.
You don't have $300,000 laying around, but you have credit. The bank is saying that you can buy this house.
Because you've proven that you're responsible enough.
Okay.
That's all credit is. It's just
A responsible payment history.
Yeah.
That you can do it.
Yeah, that you can do it. And
Okay, so do you think in today's age that the average adult or person can go without having good credit?
I think that you could go without having good credit. I just think it makes life more difficult. Like, I think there are people, like, I have a cousin, he does not use credit cards. He only buys things in cash. Like, he's never owned a credit card. And to him, he's like, why would I buy something I'm not supposed to have? Like, I can't afford to buy it. That's his logic in his mind about credit cards. So
he's never going to buy a house?
Or he'll pay it? I don't know.
Wow.
So, like, I look at it from both angles. Like, I think you should have credit, but I don't think you should go crazy into maxing out your credit cards. Like, it should just be, like,
It should be a healthy balance.
Yeah, like a safety net. Like, you know what I mean? Like she was saying, things happen, you got to have surgery. You got to have this. Like, things happen in life. So, yeah, I definitely think everybody should have credit.
Has there been a time in your life when you felt as though you needed to have credit or that credit, not having credit messed you up? Or were you in a situation where you felt like, oh, I'm worried about my credit?
I've worried about my credit recently, but I've never been in a situation where I was dependent on credit.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think it's also the way we were raised. Like, my dad always carries cash in his pocket. Like, he always would, put those principles in our minds. Like, if you can't afford it, then you can't afford it. People spend so much time on, so much money on cars and houses, and you barely drive your car and you're never at home.
Right.
So, I don't know. But I do think that we're not educated in it. And I think that we've implied all these rules with credit and everything, but we're not taking the time out to teach the people that live in this country of like what those rules really are and how to benefit from credit and how to keep ourselves out of debt. Like, no, it almost seems like they want you to fail.
Right.
Like, these are courses that should be taught. Like, why wouldn't how could a 7-year-old understand math but wouldn't understand credit? Like, not a 7-year-old, a 7th grader. You know what I mean? Like, that's something we can teach them early on.
Right. Okay. I think that one of the pitfalls that we have is that there's so many different things, and I'm guilty of falling into that pitfall because there'll be something that I'll see that I may not have the cash for, and then I'll just be like, well, you know what? I'll just get a credit card from the store, and then I'll get it. But I think that today, in today's society, with all the high-ticket items that people have, and then the way the IRS is, because I do know that, if you decide you want to go into the car dealership and spend $100,000 for a car, you can do do it. You can go in there with cash, but then you've got forms you got to fill out. There's different things you got to do. Hopefully,
Now, where did that money come from?
yeah, hopefully you got a legitimate source of where the money came from. Hopefully everything is on the up and up, and boom,
So
you're
much.
good. Other than that, you got the IRS talking about I need parts. Because cash, believe it or not, is a lot more traceable than people think it is.
Yeah, it's very traceable. Cash can be traced.
Yeah, cash is a lot
so
more
much
traceable
easier.
than, and it's weird because people don't realize that when you go and you buy a car and you go and you buy a house or whatever, and you fill out and you put your information in and they say, how did you put this down payment down? And when you have that it was cash, that's a lot more traceable than, oh, I put it down on my credit card.
Yeah.
Because they're thinking, hey, maybe you are breaking that payment in overpayments.
Mm-hmm.
If you came in there and dropped $10,000 or $20,000 or $30,000, then you had that hold up somewhere. I'm gonna tell you, I was watching the episode of Law and Order, which has nothing to do with anything, but the guy was going up for bail, and his bail was $100,000, and the gentleman stepped forward and said, my wife will pay it today in cash, Your Honor. And then the other person was like, well, we'd like to know where she's getting that money from. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas opposed, if she'd have probably said, well, I'll split it between 10 credit cards, they probably would have never questioned it.
Yeah, we give so much information that we don't even realize. Even with credit cards, like human behavior, as human beings, like the one thing we have is human patterns. Like we have habits that.
Right.
So even just tracing, looking at your credit card history, like you can detect like how much spending money you really have, and how much money you should have in your account. So where is other money coming from? Like. We
Right.
give a lot of information.
We
to
do,
the-
and
we give a lot.
and we also need to realize that a lot of it is very traceable. Money, cash. People used to think I'll only use cash unless you're doing some backroom deal or something like that. No, cash is very, very traceable. You go into a store, whatever, you buy a big purchase item, a big ticket item. Spend over a certain amount of money, even when you go to the bank. I don't know if anybody's ever done it, but if you take $10,000 of cash of your own money out of your own bank account, you have to fill out a form. There's a form you have to fill out. You have to fill it out.
It's crazy.
So, sometimes it just depends on how much hassles, how much do you want to have to report.
I had a bank that shut me down for like my brother transferred 10,000. It was like 9,000 something from his card or something to mine or Western Union. It was something, and they like closed my bank out. I was like,
because they'll say that it's
like, how you
unsafe
gonna
banking
tell me?
practices.
Yeah, I'm like, how are you gonna tell me? Like,
Yeah. Well, that's what happens. Well, thank you so much.
You're
Credit.
very welcome. Yeah,
All right.
credit.
We'll be right back.
You're watching A Talk with Armani.
Welcome back to A Talk with Armani. Thank you so much for joining me today. And remember, whether you are an all-cash person or all-credit person, maybe there should be a healthy balance between the two. Anything can happen. I know years ago, the dollar lost its value. And then years and years ago, there was a run on the banks and no credit card was safe. So you want to make sure that regardless, you don't have all your eggs or coins in one basket. Until next time, stay safe.